The Great Council Chamber of the Galaxy was built to impress. It was a vast dome of shining metal, stretching so high that the ceiling disappeared into mist. Long banners of alien empires hung from every wall. The chamber floor was wide enough to hold thousands of seats, and today, all of them were filled. Delegates from 100 species were gathered, their voices rising and falling like waves of thunder. Some hissed in their alien tongues, others spoke in smooth machine-like voices, while a few shouted so loudly their words echoed across the chamber, and in the center of it all, under the golden light of the council, sat the humans. They were not many, just a small delegation. Their leader, the President of Earth, sat calm and silent while the storm of voices raged around him. Humans must pay for their aggression, a scaled ambassador roared. His long tail lashed the ground in fury. Their colonies expand into sacred space. Their fleets raid our borders. They do not belong among civilized powers. Agreed, hissed another, her eyes glowing like burning coals. We allow them in our council, and they repay us with arrogance. They are children playing with fire. A chorus of voices followed, echoing the same complaints. Too reckless. Too violent. Too young to rule the stars. The insults rolled on like endless waves. The human delegation stayed silent. The president did not move, his face calm, almost unreadable. His advisors shifted uncomfortably beside him, but he raised one hand, quieting them. He was listening, always listening. Finally, one of the older council members, a massive being covered in silver armor plates, leaned forward. His deep voice rumbled like stone breaking apart. "Human," he said, staring down at the president. "You have heard the charges. For decades we have asked for restraint. We have asked for peace. Yet still your fleets grow, your weapons spread, and your colonies rise on worlds claimed by others." His voice hardened. "You sit here today accused of breaking the peace of the galaxy. What say you?" All eyes turned to the human president. The chamber grew silent. For a long moment he said nothing. Then he rose to his feet. He was not the tallest leader there, nor the strongest, nor the most terrifying. Compared to the towering reptilians and armored insectoids, he seemed small, just one man in a simple suit, but when he spoke, his voice carried across the chamber with a clarity that silenced even the loudest delegates. "You talk of peace," he said slowly. "You talk of order, but when our colonies were attacked by raiders, where was this council? When our ships were destroyed on the frontier, where was your justice? When our people were enslaved in your civilized space, where were your noble words then?" Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Some shifted uneasily. Others scowled. The president's eyes swept across the room, sharp and cold. "For years we came here. We sat in these halls. We listened. We waited. We followed your rules. We asked for nothing but fairness." He paused. His voice grew harder. "And what did we receive? Endless talking. Endless insults. Endless lies." The chamber stirred with anger. Delegates hissed and shouted, but the president's voice rose above them like thunder. "You think us weak. You think humans are children who cannot fight back. You're wrong." The silence that followed was heavy. Every eye was fixed on him. Even the great armored elder leaned back, his expression unreadable. The president's hands curled into fists at his side. "You wanted an answer to your charges. Here it is." His voice cut like a blade. "Enough talking." The words struck the chamber like a hammer blow. Shock rippled through the alien ranks. "Enough waiting. Enough begging for justice you will never give us." He leaned forward, his gaze hard and unshaken. "If peace cannot be made with words, then humanity will make it with fire. If the only language you respect is war, then we will speak it." He straightened, his voice cold as steel. "Let us start the war." The chamber erupted. Shouts, roars, and shrieks of outrage filled the air. Some delegates pounded their tables. Others called for immediate sanctions, even extermination. But beneath the fury, there was something else. Fear. The president did not shout. He did not wave his arms. He simply stood, calm and steady, while chaos exploded around him. His words echoed through the chamber, impossible to forget. "Enough talking. Let's start the war." The human delegation turned and walked out, leaving the council in turmoil. In the silence that followed their exit, one old alien whispered what many were already thinking. "If they truly mean this, then the galaxy is in danger." And far away, in the deep void of space, the engines of Earth's war fleets began to burn. The council chamber still echoed with chaos long after the humans left. Alien delegates shouted, argued, and demanded punishment. Some called for Earth's fleets to be crushed before they could move. Others laughed, certain that humans were only bluffing. But out in the cold darkness of space, humanity had already chosen its path. The fleets of Earth did not wait for another vote or another treaty. They were already moving. At the edge of known space, near the borders of 3 alien empires, a convoy of supply ships drifted slowly through the stars. Protected by war escorts, they carried fuel, weapons, and food for one of the Council's allied armies. The aliens on board were relaxed. They had heard of the human president's words, but none of them believed humans would dare act so boldly. That night, the stars around them shifted. Dozens of human warships uncloaked from stealth, engines glowing like fire. The alien commander shouted in alarm, "Enemy fleet detected! Identify at once!" But the answer came only in the form of missile trails. Within minutes, the convoy was burning. Human ships moved like hunters, striking fast, disappearing into the dark, then striking again. Their weapons were smaller than the massive guns of alien dreadnoughts, but faster, more precise. By the time reinforcements arrived, the convoy was nothing but wreckage drifting in silence. The first strike had begun. News of the attack spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Some alien leaders were enraged, demanding blood. Others were uneasy. The humans had struck not with chaos, but with sharp, coordinated precision. It was not the action of a reckless child. It was the first move of a species that had been planning for years. In orbit, above the colony world of Erythra, another alien fleet gathered. Their commander laughed at the reports. "Humans think they can fight us? Let them try. We outnumber them 5-1. But when the battle began, the laughter ended. Human warships darted in and out of the battlefield, never standing still, never fighting where the enemy was strongest. They jammed communications, hacked systems, and targeted supply ships instead of battleships. The aliens tried to match them, but the humans moved too fast. Adapting every minute, one alien cruiser after another was destroyed, not by raw firepower, but by cunning traps and ambushes. By the end of the day, a single human fleet had scattered 3 alien armadas. On the ground, it was no different. At the mining colony of Theron Fu, alien mercenaries attacked, expecting an easy victory. The humans were outnumbered, cornered in a canyon with no escape. But when the aliens charged, the ground erupted beneath them. Mines exploded, rock slides crashed down, and hidden turrets opened fire from cliffs. The humans had turned the canyon into a death trap. For 3 days, the small human force held against an army 10 times their size. Every time the aliens thought they had won, the humans revealed another trick, another trap. When reinforcements finally came, the mercenaries were broken, fleeing into the night. Across the galaxy, whispers began to spread. Humans fight like demons. They don't stop. They don't fear death. They are not weak. They are dangerous. The council leaders tried to calm their people, but the fear grew. Back on Earth, the president stood before a screen showing the first reports of victory. His face was calm, but his words carried fire. "They wanted us to beg," he said. "They wanted us to bow. Instead, we showed them the price of underestimating humanity." He looked across the gathered admirals and commanders. "This is only the beginning. They will come for us now, with everything they have. But we will not run. We will not hide." His voice rose, steady and cold. "We asked for peace. They gave us war. Now we will show them war as they have never known it." The chamber roared with approval. Generals slammed their fists to their chests. Fleet officers stood tall, ready for the battles to come. In the alien council, panic grew. Leaders who once mocked humanity now demanded urgent meetings. Fleets were recalled. Alliances formed. Strategies rushed into place. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy was afraid, because humanity had spoken its first words of war, and everyone knew more were coming. The first strike had changed everything. The galaxy no longer saw humans as newcomers or weaklings. They saw something else. A predator that had been silent too long. A predator that was now awake. The first strike had shocked the galaxy. Convoys destroyed. Fleets scattered. Colonies defended by impossible tactics. Humanity had proven they were not bluffing, but the war was only beginning. In the deep space near the Orion Rift, the Alien Council gathered again. Their chamber was louder than ever before. Voices rose in panic and fury. They struck 3 of our fleets. They are too fast. Our ships cannot keep up. They are reckless savages. Crush them before they spread further. The council was split. Some demanded full war against Earth. Others, shaken by the reports, whispered in fear. If humans could defeat larger forces with so little, what would they do with more? One alien elder hissed, "Humans are a storm. If we do not stop them now, they will drown us all." While the council argued, humanity moved. Earth's fleet spread across the stars like wildfire, striking not where the enemy was strongest, but where they were weakest. Supply lines, depots, secret bases all burned, and on the ground, human soldiers were proving even more terrifying than their fleets. On the jungle world of Calvaries, a battalion of alien troops marched to crush a human colony. They carried heavy armor and advanced weapons. But as they entered the valley, they found only silence. Then the jungle exploded with fire. Human soldiers struck from the trees, from the cliffs, from hidden tunnels below. Explosives tore through armored walkers. Traps triggered rock slides that buried entire platoons. The aliens fought hard, but the humans never fought fair. They used every shadow, every weapon, every trick. When the smoke cleared, the colony still stood. And the aliens had lost nearly everything. Stories like this began to spread across the galaxy. At first they were whispers, told in fear. Humans fight like demons. They never surrender. They would rather die than bow. But soon, the whispers became something else. On worlds long crushed under alien rule, oppressed species began to listen. They saw the reports of human victories. They heard the words of the human president. "We asked for peace. You gave us war." And for the first time in centuries, they felt hope. In the mining camps of the Zara system, slaves whispered to each other in the dark, "If humans can fight the council, maybe we can too." On the desert world of Anath, rebels painted the symbol of Earth across their caves. A blue circle for a blue world. Even on council-controlled planets, small riots began. People who once feared their overlords now spoke of humanity as a spark of freedom. But the galaxy's rulers did not see hope. They saw danger. The council called an emergency summit. For the first time in generations, enemies who had hated each other united. Old rivals signed secret treaties. Entire fleets were recalled to one purpose: crushing humanity before the storm grew too strong. The Grand Alliance was born. They promised to put aside their wars until Earth was destroyed. Back on Earth, the president stood in a war chamber deep under the capital. Around him, holographic maps showed enemy fleets moving across the stars. Reports were grim. Humanity was winning battles, but the galaxy was gathering. Soon they would be outnumbered 100 to 1. An admiral turned to the president. "Sir, we cannot fight them all. Not forever." The president's eyes were cold, steady. "We do not need to fight them all at once. We fight them one by one. We break their unity. We show them their alliance is built on fear, not trust." He looked across the chamber, voice sharp. "We will not surrender. We will not bow. Humanity does not run from storms. Humanity becomes the storm." And so the war spread further. Across star systems, human fleets struck, vanished, and struck again. Colonies turned into fortresses. Small squads of soldiers held mountains, rivers, and cities far longer than anyone thought possible. The rising storm was here. For the Alien Council, fear grew. For the oppressed, hope rose. The galaxy was changing, and in the middle of it all, one truth echoed louder with every battle. Humanity had stopped talking, and the galaxy was beginning to realize the price of forcing Earth into war. The storm was rising. Every world in the galaxy now knew the name of Earth. Some whispered it in fear, others in hope. But the great powers, the alien empires who had ruled for thousands of years, saw only a threat. So they gathered. For the first time in history, enemies who had once fought endless wars stood side by side. Massive fleets came together, forming a wall of steel and fire across the stars. Their goal was clear: destroy humanity before it was too late. The Grand Alliance was ready. In the human war room, the president watched the reports. Their fleets number in the thousands, an admiral said. His voice was calm, but his eyes carried the weight of fear. They outnumber us more than 20 to 1. The president's face did not move. He simply asked, and our fleets? Scattered but holding. Colonies fortified, morale unbroken. The president stood slowly. His voice was cold, steady, almost like iron. Then let them come. We will show them what fire is. We will show them what fury means. The war exploded. At the edge of human space, near the frozen rings of Carthus, the first great battle began. The Grand Alliance sent more than 500 warships. Their size blotted out the stars. The humans had only 60 ships. But when the battle started, the galaxy learned something terrible. Humans did not fight like anyone else. The Alliance charged, expecting an easy kill. But the human fleet split apart, weaving through the asteroid fields. Missiles screamed out from hidden positions. Mines detonated beneath alien flagships. The humans used every trap, every trick, every piece of terrain. Their ships darted between giant rocks, vanished into shadows, then struck with deadly precision. An alien commander roared over the comms, "They are not fighting. They are hunting us." By the time the smoke cleared, the Alliance had lost half its fleet. The humans had lost only a handful of ships. The galaxy trembled, but the humans did not stop. On the ground, they showed the same fury. On the desert world of Thalros, an alien army of 50,000 marched to crush a human outpost. Only 300 human soldiers stood in their way. The aliens laughed. "You cannot win. Surrender." The human captain only smiled. "Try us." The battle lasted 3 days. Every canyon became a trap. Every rock became a fortress. The humans fought until their weapons overheated, until their armor cracked, until their bodies bled. When the dust finally settled, the aliens retreated in panic. Thousands had fallen. The humans still stood. The stories spread faster than light. Humans fight like fire. They burn everything in their path. They would rather die than kneel. To the oppressed species of the galaxy, these words were hope. To the rulers of the Council, they were terror. Inside the Alliance war chamber, chaos reigned. Alien generals argued. They are reckless. They are unstoppable. No, they are dangerous because they fight together. Break their unity and they will fall. But deep inside, many knew the truth. Humans were not fighting like victims. They were fighting like predators. Back on Earth, the president gave a speech that was broadcast across every colony, every ship, every battlefield. His face was stern, his voice sharp and clear. "We did not start this war. We did not want this war. But now it is here and we will not run. We will not kneel. We will fight until the stars themselves burn out." He paused, his words heavy with steel. "And to those who thought humanity was weak, remember this. You lit the fire. Now you will face the fury." The speech shook the galaxy. Some alien leaders ordered their fleets to fight harder. Others, deep down, began to fear that the humans could not be stopped. The storm was no longer rising. It had arrived. Humanity was fire. Humanity was fury, and the galaxy was burning. The galaxy was burning. Human fleets had turned fear into fire, resistance into fury. The Grand Alliance had thrown everything at them, massive fleets, endless armies, entire planets worth of soldiers, and yet humanity still stood. But victory was not without a cost. The reports filled the human war room. Colonies in flames, cities destroyed, millions dead. Every victory left scars. One admiral spoke quietly. "We are winning, but at a price too high. If this continues, there may be no one left to celebrate victory." The president listened in silence. His face was pale, but his eyes burned like steel. He knew the truth. To survive, they needed one final blow, one battle that would decide the war. The Grand Alliance gathered its last, greatest fleet. More than 1,000 ships carrying the pride of every empire moved toward Earth itself. Their plan was simple: burn Earth, shatter humanity's heart, and end the war forever. But humanity had already prepared. The President's order echoed across every colony and every fleet. Defend Earth, no matter the cost. The final battle began in the void above Earth. Alien warships blotted out the stars, their cannons glowing like suns. Human fleets rose to meet them, smaller in number but united in purpose. The sky turned into fire. Missiles streaked across space. Fighters danced between cruisers. Battleships exchanged thunderous volleys that shattered asteroids and tore moons apart. Human ships fell one after another, but they did not fall quietly. Every ship that was lost took enemies with it. Some captains rammed their burning vessels straight into alien flagships, detonating in blinding explosions. The aliens came to destroy Earth. Instead, they found a species that refused to kneel. Even at the edge of death, on the ground, cities prepared for invasion. Civilians armed themselves. Children were moved into bunkers. Soldiers swore oaths that they would not let the enemy touch their home. One human general told his troops, "If we must burn, then let the galaxy see how brightly humans burn." And when alien troops landed, they were met with a wall of fire and fury. Every street turned into a battlefield, every home into a fortress. Humanity fought with the desperation of a species defending its very soul. The battle raged for days. By the third day, the human fleets were nearly broken. Only a handful of ships remained. The alien armada still darkened the skies. Inside the human flagship, the President stood on the command deck. His aides begged him to retreat, to escape, to survive. He refused. "This is where we stand. This is where we fight. If Earth falls, then humanity falls. We will not run." His voice carried through every comm, across every battlefield. Soldiers and civilians alike heard his words, and in that moment, they found strength again. Then came the turning point. A damaged human cruiser, burning and broken, drifted close to the heart of the alien fleet. Its captain, covered in blood, gave a final order. "Detonate the core!" The ship exploded with the force of a small star. The shockwave tore through the alien formation, breaking their perfect wall into chaos. The human fleets, though few, struck with everything they had left. They poured their last missiles, their last shells, their last drops of fuel into the fight. One by one, the alien flagships fell. The Grand Alliance shattered. When the smoke cleared, the stars above Earth were filled with wreckage. Thousands of ships, alien and human alike, floated lifeless in the void. Earth was scarred. Cities burned. Millions mourned. Humanity had lost more than it could ever count. But Earth still stood. Humanity had survived. Weeks later, the council chamber filled again. But this time it was silent. The alien rulers who had once mocked humanity sat with lowered eyes. The survivors of the Grand Alliance came to offer peace, not demands. At the center stood the human president. His uniform was worn, his voice hoarse, but his presence was unshaken. He spoke only a few words. "We asked for peace. You gave us war. Now you know what humanity is. Remember this. We never wanted to be your enemy, but we will never bow." The council could only nod in silence. The war was over. Humanity was now a power the galaxy could never ignore. But even as peace returned, humanity knew the truth. Victory had come at a cost that could never be repaid. The galaxy would never forget the fire and fury of Earth, and humanity would never forget the price of war.